Webb detected something strange occurring on Pluto. Pluto, the frozen dwarf planet, is now in a state of flux. The world's largest and most famous dwarf planet is about to go an unexpected change in its dynamic equilibrium. In recent decades, there's been a growing realization that Pluto should not be counted as a planet any longer, at least not according to current definitions. Most astronomers now consider Pluto nothing more than a dwarf planet, just like Ceres and Ares. When researchers looked into Pluto, they found amazing things that had never been before seen in our planetary system. This was different from what people thought before. Pluto was just an icy dwarf planet that didn't do much. NASA has released new James Webb pictures of planets in all their brilliance, and the images are frankly amazing. What did James Webb Space Telescope discover on Pluto that was a surprise? Is that a place where things might happen between galaxies? Join us as we look into a shocking new thing that the James Webb Space Telescope found on Pluto. Pluto, the bizarre place, is situated within the Kuiper Belt, which extends beyond the Neptune orbit and is full of more than 1 trillion comets and tens of thousands of hilly ice planetary bodies that are more than 62 miles across. American astronomer Percival Lowell suggested the existence of Pluto in 1905 after noticing the orbits of Neptune and Uranus were not moving in a straight line. He thought this might be because some other object's gravity was pulling on them. Lowell then tried to figure out where the interesting planet was in 1915, but he died 15 years before the object was ever found, even though he and other astrophysicists had worked out to see it. In 1930, Pluto was discovered by Clyde Tombaugh at the Lowell Observatory. Since Pluto was so distant from Earth, not much was acknowledged about its diameter or surface texture until 2015, when NASA's New Horizons space probe flew by Pluto. Pluto is 1,473 miles or 2,370 kilometers across. This makes it less than a fifth the size of Earth and approximately 2/3 the size of the Moon. Latest computer simulations, in contrast, demonstrate how lucky Pluto is to be located in its orbital path, as the dwarf planet is getting closer to a chaotic orbit that could damage the lovely world. Compared to how other planetary systems move around the Sun, the orbit of the old ninth planet is lengthy and very tilted. Pluto travels within Neptune's orbit during the first 20 years of its 248-year trip around the Sun. This is because of azimuthal libration and latitude libration, two parts of Pluto's orbit that keep them from ever colliding when Pluto traverses Neptune's orbit. It stays at least 90 degrees from Neptune, called azimuthal libration. Latitude libration, on the other hand, keeps Pluto far from the plane of Neptune or any of the significant planetary systems whenever it is nearest to them. Kashi Edo of Japan's National Astronomical Observatory and Renu Malhotra of the University of Arizona's Lunar and Planetary Laboratory have learned more about how Pluto could live in its current orbit. Researchers discovered that Neptune has the most effect on Pluto's position as a cooperative libration. This is because Pluto revolves around the Sun approximately twice every 3 times that Neptune revolves around the Sun. But the model shows that Neptune doesn't affect Pluto's latitude in libration much. However, when you add Uranus as gravitational pull, stuff starts to go wrong because Uranus works against the mutual latitude and limitations. Just these 2 planets could have caused Pluto's orbit to change after tens or hundreds of millions of years, allowing it to either crash into Neptune or, more probably, be pushed out of the planetary system. Jupiter, and to a smaller extent Saturn, keep an eye out for Pluto. Even though Neptune and Uranus are far away from Pluto, their gravity is strong enough that they still rule. Jupiter's gravity is significant to keep Pluto within the same orbit for at least 5 billion years, which is how long the simulations were run. The most surprising thing about this latest research is that Pluto's territory of stability isn't vast, and that it's only because of a lucky orientation with the remaining planets within the solar system that it can stay stable. Another characteristic that stands out in a vast heart-shaped area on Pluto's surface known as TOMBOW REGGIO. Carbon monoxide ice has wrapped the left side of the region in Pluto's core, which looks like a cone of ice cream. This indicates that the surface components are changing even more. In honor of Sputnik, the very first satellite made by humans, the New Horizons team calls the sleek area in the center left of TOMBOW REGGIO the Sputnik Planum. This section of Pluto's surface has no meteor scars, indicating it's less than 100 years old geologically. Geological activities are probably shaping and modifying it. These icy areas also have a few kilometer-long, parallel black stripes. Winds may produce the lines on the dwarf planet's surface. Pluto's surface has temperatures between -375 and -400 degrees Fahrenheit. Pluto seems redder in recent Hubble Space Telescope photos, likely due to seasonal changes. Pluto had an underground ocean. However, this is questionable. The subsurface liquid may have shaped Pluto's history. Sputnik Planitia affected Pluto's rotation due to its heavy ice, which New Horizons estimated to be 6 miles thick. After considering less plausible hypotheses, experts found an underground ocean perfectly suitable to the facts. Denser ice or rock modifications could cause the change. New studies examine photographs of 2 huge mounds believed to be glacier volcanoes. Based on the findings, the surface around these mounds was probably made by ice volcanoes. The research focuses on whether liquid water is still running or previously flowing below Pluto's surface, and whether these eruptions are still operational. Recent behavior suggests Pluto's core is hotter than expected. Given past recent findings, the researchers believe their outcomes could elevate the possibility of life underneath Pluto's surface. In some places, the landscape is rough or hummocky, with rippling sphere-shaped mountains. Experts say that these huge mounds may have evolved because of the deposition of tinier mounds made by the volcano. Kelsey Singer, a planetary researcher at the Southwest Research Institute in Boulder, Colorado, says there is no other place on Pluto that looks like this. It is also the only place like it in the whole solar system. This part of Pluto has fewer or no impact craters than some other parts, which suggests that the surface was established relatively recently in geological history. Since there are no craters in the region, it is between 1 and 2 billion years old, and some parts could be as young as 200 million years. But since Pluto has a lot of ice covering on its surface, in some forms, cryovolcanoes are the same as volcanoes on Earth, since its temperatures are much lesser than the freezing point of the water, or maybe something similar that is at least slightly liquid or portable would act like lava. It's more likely a soupy mixture of fluid and ice or a solid that flows. Singer said that it might be more like tomato sauce or more like thick ice that continues to flow. Even though researchers don't fully comprehend how it works, scientists think that Pluto's cryovolcanic behavior is caused by radiogenic heat produced when radioactive elements break down inside the dwarf planet. Pluto doesn't have plate tectonics, the complicated structure of traveling continental crust that keeps geological activity on Earth. However, one thing that heats the inside of the Earth is a comparable process. Researchers use the term general tectonics to talk about geothermic processes such as that on Pluto, which doesn't have tectonic plates but still has things like rock faults. Recent research shows that Pluto was warm when this was first made, and there could still be fluid ocean underneath its icy crust. A bunch is still unclear about these structures, how they formed, and how Pluto's cryovolcanism works. Researchers are keen to discover more about our planet and planets beyond our solar system. The finding of liquid water under Pluto's surface makes it a little more likely that life may exist there. Anyhow, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. As always, please make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. Until next time, take care.